My face is sitting, I don't need no disguise. Don't comment on my body, do not reply. Why do you care so much whose dick I ride? Why? And that was a spoken word. That was a spoken word, actually, by Ariana Grande. People are so mad at her because she looks the same that she did on the Wicked press tour as she does in the Meet the Fockers movie. And they're like, they should have done this and that to her. Girl, she doesn't want to be ugly. She doesn't want to be ugly. She wants to be hot all the time. And I relate to that. Because I don't care if I'm working out on a treadmill. I don't want to sweat. Like, I don't want to look bad. I'm going to look hot no matter what I'm doing. And I don't think that's sad. That's just who I am. Is I love to look good. So what's the problem? What's the problem? Because she can do everything that she needs to do while not looking ugly. Like, she just doesn't want to do that. So in every single sketch in SNL, she's still pretty. She still has a fake lash on. That's not a moral failure. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I get it, girl. Ariana isn't like, she's a little kooky. But that's fun. And it's not like bad kooky. When we're talking about like a male celebrity who's kooky, it's like, oh, and by the way, he's also like abusive. He's an abusive partner to people. That's that kind of kooky. But when we're talking about a girl who's a little kooky, it's like, yeah, she talks like a baby. Yeah, okay. Who cares? She talks and she's like puts on like an anime level worried face on all the time. Okay, it's a little kooky. It's a little like strange and bizarre, but she also makes the best music ever. Oh my gosh, speaking of the best music ever, Kacey Musgraves put out a new album. You guys, once again, it's like the world is bad, but the art is good. So let's revel in the good art. And Kacey Musgraves' Middle of Nowhere album is incredible art. Here's how I feel about Kacey Musgraves. Because Kacey Musgraves is one of my favorite fucking artists ever. Like, I just fucking love her. I listen to her music all the time. I love everything she stands for. I love her aesthetic. I just love her. I love Kacey, girl. I love Kacey. Who doesn't? And this album is so good. It's so listenable. And to me, Kacey Musgraves is like a deep breath of fresh air in. That is how it feels listening to her music. Her pen, dog, her pen is unlike any other. Dry Spell, the first single, impeccable. It's like sexy and it's funny and it's catchy and it's danceable. It is talking about something that like is not the, like, I don't know, I feel like every song's about love and hers is about like, I'm not having sex right now. That's literally what that song is, and it's so good. And like, I want to literally, this album makes me want to go line dancing. And I've never even been line dancing. I rarely have ever gone to like a bar in my life, period. This song makes me want to go do that. And like be a little tipsy and like sexily dance to Dry Spell. I want to do that. Okay, and then we have, I'm just gonna name some of my favorite songs because I have only listened to it 3 times. And there's just like ones that are like really speaking to me right now. I'll first rip Loneliest Girl in the World. I was like, this is the best song on the album. This is a timeless song. You guys. Loneliest Girl in the World is going to be an anthem for women everywhere, and it is an anthem that is so representative of the culture, like the cultural zeitgeist of 2026 and the date and like where the genders are at, where like relationship statuses are at. Like, this is the 2026 song of the year for me personally. Just like Loneliest Girl in the World, she's literally happy and peaceful. She's peaceful and has like no interest in being in a relationship. I feel like there's like this, I think people who don't understand women who don't want to get married because they like vie into like that like romantic love is the ultimate priority in life. People who don't understand that, I think they think, oh, well, know what, they really want to be married. Like, if they found the perfect guy, they would actually still want to be married and in a relationship. Loneliest Girl in the World really illustrates how that's not true. There are people, and particularly, there are women who don't want to be in a relationship at all and want to be alone. They want to be alone. And they want to have friends as their main priority or themselves as their main priority. And romantic love, if it impedes on them at all, it's not worth being alone. It's just like a preferred lifestyle. You know what I mean? This album to me feels it's just such a strong album. It's very country-y, and it's honestly the most country I get is like Dolly Parton and Kacey Musgraves and Willie Nelson. That's about as country as I get. And it just feels right. It feels right, and it feels clear, and it's just like Kacey Musgraves' her musical abilities have strengthened, and she's found her voice in her music more and more and more. Like, she is an artist that is progressing and like just doing her best work, and she just refines her craft every album. Like, Golden Hour is an all-timer album of all time for everyone, right? Like, literally everybody loves that album. It's perfect and won album of the year for a fucking reason. It's a timeless album. And then she puts out Star-Crossed, which y'all didn't like. Y'all weren't comfortable with Star-Crossed because she's taking more of a risk. And yeah, it's not as lackadaisical as Golden Hour. It is dark, and it's hard, and she's going through a divorce. Ooh, scary, a divorced woman. Ooh, you guys are scared of Star-Crossed. I'm not afraid of Star-Crossed. The visuals are great. The visuals are stunning. It's giving it's a little like Baz Luhrmann-y to me. Like, what? And then we have literally Deeper Well, which y'all still want to hate on. Y'all still don't understand Deeper Well like I understand Deeper Well. And the second I heard Deeper Well, I immediately got it. That album Deeper Well is like the movie Soul. Okay? It's just clear, and it's right, and it's true. And there are some just awesome songs in there. The shape of his hands. That's not it. The shape of his nose. Oh, it's so good. Oh, man, it's so good. She can write a love song like no other. I remember when I listened to Eternal Sunshine, and I listened to the whole album, closing my eyes with my headphones on in my bedroom. I listened to Imperfect for You, and then I listened to Ordinary Things, because that's how it progresses in the album. And I literally, after I finished both those songs, I said, Ariana Grande just wrote the best love song I've ever heard. And that's how I feel about Kacey Musgraves and the song Dinner with Friends. I'm like, that's one of the best songs I've ever heard, because it's like When Harry Met Sally. It's about love, but really it's about life. And all of my favorite romantic comedies are about that. And I'm going to name my top 4 Letterboxd romantic comedies for you, because that's important to me, that you know my taste in romantic comedies. Because I grew up with 3 sisters. I've seen every single romantic comedy ever made. And I do have an affinity for it, and I do love it. That being said, I'm not a rom-com girl, and I really only like rom-coms if they're really good quality, and you'll understand that from my Letterboxd top 4. My top 4 Letterboxd rom-coms are About Time with Rachel McAdams. Rachel McAdams is one of my favorite actresses of all time. She is endlessly talented. She is a shapeshifter. She is the most charming person that's ever been on screen. She's the most gorgeous woman in the world, and she is rom-com royalty, honey. Okay, and About Time is an underrated one. Once again, it's about life. It's honestly about a life that contains love. You know what I mean? And she's so gorgeous in that movie too. Ugh, okay. When Harry Met Sally, number 2. Obviously, number 3, Rowan Holiday with Audrey Hepburn and Gregory Peck. No, not Gregory Peck. Yes, it is Gregory Peck. It's not Cary Grant. I get Cary Grant and Gregory Peck confused in my head because they're both just like the most attractive men ever in the history of cinema. But that movie... look, I know it's very intimidating to be like, I want to watch an older movie from like the 1950s. I know that's an intimidating subject, but let me give you this recommendation if you've never seen it, and you probably have. But if you haven't, girl, it's never too late. It's never too late. Go watch Roman Holiday. Roman Holiday has Audrey Hepburn and Gregory Peck. They were and still are some of the most like iconic people of all time, and I think this movie really demonstrates why. They are the most attractive people ever. They have incredible chemistry. Basically, Roman Holiday is like, it's kind of like a day in the life where Audrey Hepburn is literally a princess, right? I'm pretty sure. She's literally a princess, and she's a little drunk, and she's alone, and she's like a lonely girl. And then Gregory Peck is like this journalist who's like trying to get a story on her, and like they basically meet, and kind of, she's in Rome, but she's never explored it, and he lives in Rome, so they kind of just like go around on holiday, girl, and kind of fall in love with each other. And she gets a haircut. She gets a haircut, they eat gelato. It is like it's just fucking such a movie, dog. It's such a movie, you know what I mean? And it ends on like a fucking great note. That's my kind of rom-com, girl. Just a beautiful woman and a hot fucking guy who have great chemistry, and just everything about that movie's gorge. And then number 4 would be, honestly, City Lights with Charlie Chaplin. We've talked about Charlie Chaplin before, and we're going to talk about Charlie Chaplin for the rest of time, because I love Charlie Chaplin, and his movies are some of my favorite movies I've ever seen in my entire life, and they made a huge impression on me as a child. Most of the movies I just named don't even end with the two people gonna end in a relationship, because that's not even what love is for everyone. You know what I mean? Sometimes being in the relationship with the other person, it doesn't work out, but that doesn't mean that the relationship was any less important. You know what I mean? Like, I think people are like, oh, they can't be the love of your life unless you were married to them for 30 years. It's like, sometimes the love of your life, it's like La La Land. That's another one. That's like, it ends with them choosing themselves. And that love is like, it was the love of their life, but they didn't end up together. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I think that is truer than that they're necessarily going to spend the rest of their lives with each other. But Harry Met Sally is an example of that. Anyways, I need to talk about another movie that literally, dog, I saw today. And it's actually the best. I know I'm speaking in a lot of hyperbole right now, but I'm talking about things I'm passionate about. Okay, let me just tell you a story. 3 different straight men hit on me, and each of them were like, hey, what were you doing today? And I was like, okay, I saw The Devil Wears Prada 2. And all 3 of them had no idea, had never even heard of The Devil Wears Prada. And I was like, okay, guys, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. The Devil Wears Prada 2, the level of quality that this movie is, The Devil Wears Prada 2 is basically if The Godfather was fun. That's how good this movie is, okay? The performances are just as gorge and intricate and perfect and fun as they were in the first movie. Maximalized? Like, but just maximized and progressed and smart. And by the way, Lucy Liu in this movie is exactly how I picture her in real life. If just like, she is royalty, like this Lucy Liu, the cast is impeccable. I love this movie. This movie is a perfect movie. The soundtrack is great. The fact that Lady Gaga and Meryl Streep have a little tiff in the movie, and then Lady Gaga performs in Milan, Italy. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? The fact that we see so many more dimensions to Miranda, and she is just as fabulous as ever, dog. And honestly, this movie, like I've been saying over and over again, everything is so bad right now in the world. And this movie, once again, like Kacey Musgraves' album, was a deep breath of fresh air in. And, okay, the Barbie movie, I have a point with this, so just walk with me for 5 seconds. Like, you're gonna hate me after this conversation, but just walk with me. Something that movie did, which I had never felt in a movie theater before, obviously in that movie when like Ken is playing the guitar to Barbie and all the Barbies, and it's like super awkward, and all the jokes they have about like the Ken's mansplaining The Godfather and like all those little jokes. I've never been laughing at men in a movie theater surrounded by other people. Just in a way of like, literally women are always the butt of the joke. Women or gay men or any minority are always the butt of the joke. Okay, you're supposed to laugh at that character. So to be in a movie where like minorities or women or anyone that's usually the butt of the joke is now the people who are regarded as the main characters, and they're punching up, but they're laughing at the other people who have been making the joke on them for decades. And it's really cathartic and funny and made me feel so connected. By the way, BJ Novak in this role is like quintessential BJ Novak. Once again, the casting is flawless. And when I first saw him, I was like, why is he in that movie? And now I'm like, yeah, that's why he was in that movie, because he is literally like just like representing finance bros and like just like a disgusting projected masculinity of these like finance bros. It was so good, and it was so foreign in the movie, and like it felt just right. Of like, there's this guy who is like impeding in this world that he has no knowledge of and has no real respect for and doesn't understand, but it is important, and he's the butt of the joke. It felt so cathartic to feel that in the movie. And then also, okay, I don't know how y'all feel about Justin Theroux. I don't love Justin Theroux. In this movie, he's playing like a dumb billionaire, and he has like honestly, the prosthetics, probably one of the only bad things about this movie is the prosthetics on Justin Theroux. I did not like that. But that being said, he plays like a dumb billionaire who Emily Blunt is manipulating so that he buys her rich, like expensive things. Which Emily Blunt was great in the movie. I love how it ended with Emily Blunt's character. I love the twist in it. Here's the other thing about The Devil Wears Prada. The movie is extremely watchable. Devil Wears Prada 2 is the exact same way. It's extremely watchable. It builds in a really great way, and it feels extremely satisfactory. It is a fun watch. The clothes are obviously impeccable. The set design is perfect. The hair budget in this movie is high. Okay? Meryl Streep, like, I could literally cry thinking about Meryl Streep in The Devil Wears Prada. Because what she says in this movie. I'm so happy. I'm just happy this movie exists. I needed this movie, dude. Okay. Is everyone's basically being like, bitch, you're old and you need to get out, and someone else needs to take over Vogue, because whenever Runway really represents Vogue. And she's like a lot of Miranda Priestley's character is internal, right? Obviously, she keeps a lot of things in her head, and she's a genius and she's a visionary, and people don't understand her. So she is like, people keep like kind of attacking her, like, someone else needs to take over, you're gonna be bought out, this isn't important, like, you're not important. Like, she's really being knocked down a peg in this movie. And she kind of, at the very end, she's like, I want to work. I love working, and I love what I do, and I don't want to stop. Fuck you guys! Fuck you guys! Fuck you! That's what I want to see in the movies. To have a movie, that movie made me feel hope. That movie made me feel understood. That movie made me feel like, oh, women are so much better than men. And that movie is, like, I regard that movie as literally The Godfather 2. It's The Godfather 2. Like, I don't even think I think The Godfathers are great, but I do think that they're overrated. And let me talk about another movie I saw last night. Before I went to that bar with those 3 men who hit on me, who didn't know what The Devil Wears Prada was, I saw Mother Mary. Anne Hathaway's having a big weekend, okay? Mother Mary takes itself... Okay, here's my review of it. It takes itself very seriously. The visuals are stunning. I've never seen visuals like this in a movie. The music is great. Anne Hathaway is on the verge of tears the entire movie. The set design is gorge. There are some crystal clear fucking great lines in this movie. The script, like line for line, is like poetic and interesting. It's an interest, like, and I don't say interesting as like weird or bad. I mean interesting in a very high regard, because interesting to me, I think, ages well. And that movie was interesting. I just think it takes itself so seriously, and I think there is like very few moments where it has a sense of humor. And movies like that, I think it would benefit from like a little more of a sense of humor, because it is a little silly. But that being said, I think there are going to be a lot of people whose entire personalities come from Mother Mary, and I'm glad this movie exists. And I think the casting was great. I could see what it was going for, and I think it will age really well. That being said, here's the thing, is that, like, that movie was good. Some people are going to hate it, some people are going to love it. You know what I mean? It's kind of a more, like, tipsy-topsy movie. The Devil Wears Prada 2, I'm like, this was the best movie I've seen in the last 10 years. Since I've been 12, this is the best movie I've ever seen. It's just so good and well done. This movie was well done. I also saw a trailer for Toy Story 5, and I know it's like, okay, once we get to like a third movie in a franchise, I'm usually at that point checked out. Toy Story 4, I thought was lacking the most out of all the Toy Stories, but I actually think this Toy Story 5 might be revolutionary. It's bringing in technology for children, and I kind of have a strong opinion on it as a kid who grew up with technology. I had an iPod Touch since I've been 8 years old, and then obviously it's progressed from there of like, I started with an iPod and an iPod Touch, and then became an iPhone. I had an iPhone when I was in middle school. Like, that is such a world wide open that most of the human race did not receive, and it has affected me in so many ways, and I wouldn't be who I am without technology in my life, both in a negative way and a positive way. And I honestly, the more that I grow up, the more I'm like, this is a negative thing. The fact that technology imprinted on me that much as someone who received an iPhone in middle school, if you're receiving an iPad at 2 years old, it's going to completely, like, I don't know, it just like has so many effects that it's like, okay, AI is literally making the internet. You don't know what's real and what's fake, so what's the point of it? If you can't trust technology to give you accurate information, then we can know what we can trust. We can trust, like, human-to-human interaction and seeing things with our own eyes and actually living in the present. Because the present is the only thing that is real and accurate anymore. Like, everything, like, the writing can be affected with AI. The art that we're watching can be affected with AI. So unless, like, we are seeing with our own eyes people paint, and seeing with our own eyes people write, and seeing with our own eyes people who like perform, then the rest of it, we don't know if it's real or fake. Right now we do, but I'm saying, like, this is a nuanced conversation I'm trying to have. Like, in the future, and even now, people are like, I don't know if this is AI, I don't know if it's real, and it's really full, especially, like, older people, it's really fooling older people, and, like, we're just starting out with AI, so honestly, I feel like it's a wrap on social media, and I know that it doesn't feel that way right now, but I really do think that the majority of people don't want it, and so it's kind of useless. It's just lame. Like, honestly, that is the biggest thing going against AI, and kind of the reason AI will not ultimately, like, bring the world to an end, is because AI is so lame and boring and just, like, it's just slimy. And it's not something that's going to age well. It's going to be like, ew. For the rest of time, it's going to be ew. Because it's not interesting. And interesting things age well. AI is not interesting. And that's why it's like, it's scary because it's limitless. But it's going to destroy itself and eat itself because it's not interesting. I actually asked my grandparents. I love watching old episodes of Seinfeld. And I watched that show. And I literally am like, how did you guys do it before iPhones? And they laughed because my grandparents, like, have Apple Watches, have iPhones, like, they are integrated to the point that they were like, my grandma literally said, looking back, I don't know how we did it either, but we just did. And I just found that so poignant. It's like, once again, I'm still reading Alan Cummings' book. I've been reading it for like 3 weeks. And I'm like a 3/4 of the way through, okay? But he literally was talking about how on his first flight ever to LA for, like, his first big movie, his flight got delayed, and this was the 90s. His flight got delayed, and there was no way of communicating because he didn't know their phone number and he didn't know theirs. Like, there's no way of communicating that the flight, like had to make a pit stop or something, and he wouldn't be there by the next day, and there was a time limit on this role and all this stuff. And so he was like, he realized like there is literally nothing I can do, so I might as well enjoy this layover. And that's really how I feel about this, is like, you know, sometimes there's just nothing you can do, so you have to find a way to enjoy it. And I was actually listening to Tanner Tan's podcast, who I love. Every time he speaks, I love him more. Every time he says something, I'm like, hey, do you know I'm going to tattoo that on my literal chest? And when I see you, I'm going to rip open my shirt, and on my body will be everything you've ever said tattooed on my body. That's how much he resonates with me. He literally was crying on his podcast talking about, like, you need to go listen to this podcast, girl, because it changed my life. And almost every podcast that I listen to him by him is revelatory for me and changes my life in different ways. But it was like the one with whimsy in the title, and he was basically like, you know what, here's why history is important. It's because we gay people and people who think what's going on right now is just absolutely atrocious, like, know what we're gonna do right now? We're gonna dance or die, Lady Gaga. Okay? We're going to have to dance or die. And baby, we're in anarchy and chaos and evil. We have to dance through it. We don't have control over anything that's going on right now. All we can do is vote for a better future. But right this second, there are things out of our control. So we know what we're going to do. We're going to dance. And we can't control a lot, but we can control that we're going to pour heavy-handed drinks. And we're going to laugh through this and find the joy in the darkness, dog. That's what The Devil Wears Prada 2 is right now. Is a little bout of light in a sea of fucking darkness. That's what Kacey Musgraves' album is right now. And let me talk about something else that is like that, and that is the show Hacks. I'm going to talk about multiple shows, so let me name them all so I don't forget. I need to talk about The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I need to talk about Survivor. I don't really need to talk about Survivor because right now I don't have a lot of positive things to say about Survivor, so maybe I'm not going to talk about Survivor, but I need to talk about Hacks, and I need to talk about the Beverly Hills housewife reunion. Okay, let me talk about Hacks. I was walking on my walking pad watching the latest episode of Hacks, and in the latest episode of Hacks, there's like a Harry Styles-esque character who falls in love with Jean Smart, and he's played by like the guy who plays Conrad in The Summer I Turned Pretty. I never watched that show, but I had seen him hit on TikTok and a bunch of edits. When he kisses Jean Smart, and he's like, when I want something, I go after it. And she's kind of like taken aback. And then she goes, me too. And then she leans in for another fucking kiss. You know what I literally did? I put my hands in the air and I went, I had an exasperated grasp, like scream of air. Thank you. This is the burst of light I needed in this sea of dark. Okay, this is my flashlight, getting me through the night. Kickstart my heart. Is she a Trump supporter? Is Haley Steinfeld a Trump supporter? I don't feel like she can be, because she's literally a feminist who loves to masturbate and wrote a show about lesbians. So I don't feel like she could be a Trump supporter. But hey, people have done crazier things. So would I be shocked? No. Would I be a little surprised? Yes. But I don't think she is. I just think that, like, she's straight and people don't like that she's straight. But hey, I don't know. She was in Sinners. There's no way she's a Trump supporter. She was in Pitch Perfect 2 and she was in Sinners. Like, Hacks truly is, it is The Sopranos to me. It is Sopranos. It's that level of quality. The writing's impeccable. It is so funny. The character, Jean Smart, like, you know how Julia Louis-Dreyfus won every single Emmy when she was in Veep, and she deserved them all? It's literally like Audra McDonald has won like 7 Tonys, and she deserved an 8th for fucking Gypsy, and I'll never stop talking about it because she changed my life with that role, and I'm not even fucking kidding, dog. Jean Smart has won every Emmy basically for Hacks every year since it's been airing, and it's like, yeah, and she deserves it every time. What she's doing with that character is one of the all-time great characters, and she is perfect, and the writing is clever and smart and nuanced and interesting, and the dynamic between her and Hannah Einbinder, the romantic leads in the show for these characters are the hottest people ever. Tony Goldwyn, the way I feel about Tony Goldwyn is actually unlike anyone else. The sensuality that drops on my head and then flows down my body every time I see Tony Goldwyn, he's unlike anyone else in the world. And like how I feel about John Bernthal is how I feel about Tony Goldwyn. Okay, so I'm gonna pitch you a movie. We redo Challengers scene for scene. I'm Zendaya. John Bernthal is the blonde-haired one, and Tony Goldwyn is Josh O'Connor. Okay, will you support this financially? But I'm laughing, but I'm so serious. That's why I'm laughing. For him to be a literal hot evil man in that show, I'm like, that's why this is The Sopranos to me, is because of stuff like that. That's just a detail of this show in a wide open range of this show being the perfect show. Tony Goldwyn is the cherry on top of this beautiful cake. Oh yeah, update on the guy that I met at the diner. He's literally like already in love with me, dude. We've been on 3 dates and he already is like literally in love with me, and is like I was like so nervous at first, and now I'm like totally chilling because I'm like, dude, I got this man hooked around my finger. I think I've just been feeling so out of it lately and so lost, and I've also felt extremely, this is vulnerable, hey, I felt extremely unattractive for like the last 6 months. I've just felt so like, and genuinely my identity is tied to the fact that I'm gorgeous. And I know that might sound bad, but it's just the truth. Like if I don't feel attractive, I don't feel like I really know who I am. And I think that's actually kind of normal. When you're not feeling in touch with yourself sexually or sensually, you're just like, don't understand or see that part of yourself, and you feel unattractive and you don't feel pretty, then it really does make you feel like, okay, well then, like, that's just a huge aspect of who I am. And I'm really starting to feel it come back, and I feel so just like in touch with who I really am. And like I feel so much more powerful and confident, and I feel like it's really coming back, and I'm just so happy because it's been so long, and I feel I can do so much more when I feel good, and I'm starting to feel good again, and I just have felt bad for a long time. So I'm just really happy right now, and I think this is going to be a really good summer, and there's just so much good things coming out right now, and I'm going to end on Beverly Hills Reunion because it's a great season. I just want to say again, I'm not on any sides, and I mean that wholly, like as a whole human being. I'm not on sides in this show. I love all of them. I understand all of them. I'm rooting for all of them. I understand why they're having contentions because they're all at different places in their life and they're colliding. And honestly, the truth of these shows is that usually what's going on is two people are going through really hard things, and there's a lot of miscommunication, and there's a lot of misunderstandings, and there's a lot of not understanding intentions, and so they butt heads. And that's what these shows are. It's not even about each other. It's about what happens to a human being when you're in survival mode and like everything's falling apart, and then the people you've counted on are also going through that, and you can't show up for each other at certain moments because you're going through different things. I love Amanda. And I think Amanda is like Camille in the sense of like the first season, everyone hated Camille Grammer. Okay. The more that time goes by, the more she ages so well. And she was actually the smartest woman on that show and the funniest woman on that show. And she ages so well. And she's actually like, she just knows who she is. She's Camille Grammer. And you can have a problem with Camille Grammer, but Camille Grammer's hot and gets what she wants. And that's going to win in my book every time. And that's how I feel about Amanda, is people don't get her right now because she has to evade a level of self-awareness in order to be who she is. And basically the idea is like, if you keep saying to everyone, I'm really hot, I know I'm really hot, people will start to think that you're hot. And she just applies that times a million to her whole life. So she's like, I'm not going to say anything negative or take in anything negative. Everything is a positive. And through doing that, you put out into the universe that you are happy and you are perfect and you are rich, and it comes back to you. And I feel like she just has to evade societal standards of like, it sounds like she's bragging because she is like, through her daily speech, manifesting what she wants, which is money and whatever goal she has. And people don't understand that yet. But I understand that. And I know she's going to age well, and people just don't get her yet. And they don't understand her yet, but I understand Amanda. And I really hope that she stays on the show because I think that she's really good for the show. And yeah, she's a little cringe, but I also think, along with my AI prediction that it's gonna destroy itself, it's like a self-eating machine, I feel that cringe is, people are so afraid of being cringe. It is cool to be cringe because it actually means you don't care what people think. And the least cool thing is to care about what people think. And so many times people are like, oh, that person doesn't care and that person's nonchalant, so they're super cool. That's not cool to me. And it's just so lame. It is so much cooler to be passionate and care a lot about things because it means that you're more in touch with your identity and you're not afraid. Like, being cool means to not be afraid. To be cringe is to be free, is really what I'm saying. I also have that tattooed on my lower back. Kyle. I love Kyle. I think Kyle is such a vulnerable woman, and I think she does not get enough fucking comment about how brave she is as a person. She's literally one of the bravest people I've ever seen on television. She talks about things that I could never even begin to be strong enough to talk about. I admire her as someone who's just like, what she's talking about is so vulnerable. And people just attack the shit out of her. And it's like, when you're actually going through these things in real life, it's very easy to sit on your couch and attack, but it's actually hard to live through them. And she's being vulnerable about how hard it is, and still trying to like have dignity in the process. It's just like, wow. Erica, I love Erica. I actually have always loved Erica, and I think the idea that she panders to a gay audience, I just think that she's herself. There's a spectrum of people, and she falls on like literally the Donatella Versace level, like Michelle Visage level spectrum of womanhood. I think it was so vulnerable when she talked about her relationship in which she was the victim of domestic abuse. I cried because she does represent to me. I've grown up watching her. She represents to me like you could throw 1,000 fucking bricks at her and she'll still be standing there in like heels and like a fucking glossed ass lip and like a teased hairdo, and nothing is gonna like break her. She literally is like unbroken. She's giving Unbroken. You know that movie about the guy who like goes through a bunch of crap? That's her for me. So for her to be vulnerable about how she was a victim of domestic abuse, I was like, oh my god, that it was just like, it just hit so intensely to me. I don't know. It really struck a chord with me. Anyone can be a victim of domestic abuse. The strongest woman to the weakest person, to gay men, to like straight men can be a victim of domestic abuse. It's just like anyone can. So the less like judgment we have around that subject, and the more vulnerable and honest we are about that subject, the more that people will realize they're in domestic abusive relationships and they can leave. Because if the strongest woman in the world was in one and got out, then you can too. And like, I don't know. I just thought that was so inspirational. I love Jennifer Tilly. Literally fucking Kathy Hilton answering her phone when Kyle was like literally getting emotional about her divorce. Oh my gosh, that was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. And Dorit, oh, poor baby Dorit. You know, Dorit's going through hell right now, and I just really want her to be in a peaceful time in her life because she's just so clearly going through hell. It's like Plants vs. Zombies, dog. She's literally doing Plants vs. Zombies right now. Like, there are so many zombies, and the zombies never stop coming, and all she can do is shoot, and she cannot take a moment to, like, breathe and have, like, a sip of lemonade and repower up. Like, she's just gaunt and fighting back because everyone in the world and the universe is fighting her. So, is Dorit coming off extremely harsh right now? Yeah, dude, she is, because she's going through the worst time of her life ever. So, I just wish Dorit peace, and, like, I think one day I really do think that a season will pass, and she will get through this, and she will be able to, she will connect more and be at a place where she can actually reconcile some of these relationships. And I'm not saying, and then right now it's just not the right time. There's just too much going on, but, that day will come at some point, you know what I mean? She's just going through a lot right now, and I love Dorit. But yeah. Okay, I am gonna go. But I love you. I love you. I love you. I love